everyone would be just in here. I remember you screaming. Just screaming at us.
You just get so emotional. You had tears coming out your eyes.
Oh, too nice.
What about
the voice goes a bit high.
What about when you got Ruthless on?
John Laws, tell us that.
John Laws.
Tell us that, John Laws.
On the first day in the first camp, Freddy sat us down and spoke to us for about 20 minutes as a team. And he sort of helped us understand the enormity of what was in front of us, how much he believed in us and how we were going to do it, how we were going to beat New South Wales. He turned and gave the floor to Choppy, and Choppy tried to speak and ended up just crying.
Oh, wow. It doesn't get much bigger than this. Suncorp Stadium is where we're coming to you from for this special episode of Freddy in the 8th, brought to you by Sportsbet, as we, of course, count down to Game 1 of the State of Origin Series opener. Great to have your company at home, and great to see you as well, Andrew Johns, Brad Fittler. How excited are we?
Evening.
How good.
In Brisbane the night before Origin. Did you say going large?
Going large.
Are you going large tonight?
Well, there's only one way to go.
Go hard or go home.
All right. I look forward to tomorrow.
Is my wife watching this? I'm in bed early.
How special is this? Take a look around.
Oh, it's the best.
The whole stadium to ourselves.
Takes me back to the original ground. There used to be this strange hill at this end. It was like a rock formation basically, and people would just sit on it and stand on it. I remember my first game. There was these two blokes, the only two people in the whole stadium that had blue on, and they had this massive New South Wales banner, and they walked across the front of it. The whole hill just threw cans at them. By the time they got to the end, they were just pouring out of blood, and the coppers grabbed them and just threw them straight out. Thought I'm in trouble here.
What year was that?
1991.
How old were you then?
18, 17.
Wait,
no, 18.
Fuck.
18.
Oh, so good. All right, well, we've got a fantastic show coming your way this evening. We're going to be talking all the big news out of Origin, because there's plenty happening around the grounds at the moment. Ben Ikin's going to be joining us as well. Also, Danny Buderus will be joining us. We're going to get some great stories about Bedsy and also our great mate Andrew Johns. We're going to get Bedsy to spill all. And then we're going to go inside in the inner sanctum of Suncorp Stadium. Really looking forward to that. And also, don't forget, the long lunch competition is open. So send in your best photos from where you are watching Freddy in the 8th. You can see some of the entries that we've had sent into our email address there, f8@9.com.au. Watching a bonfire.
Well, he nearly lost our boat. Stu Laundy come undone in Vietnam.
Yeah.
He come off his motorbike.
Luckily, he's okay.
Yeah, we've got our boat back.
Luckily, he landed on his head.
The long lunch, it is still on. So
Get better, Stu.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking forward to that. All right, well, we're going to have a look around the grounds, all things State of Origin at the moment. So we thought we'd have a look back in history and get out of the archives your first ever State of Origin tries.
Right.
So, Joey, you're first up. Do you remember?
No, we're just trying to think about it.
Here we go.
Trent Brush. Tim Brush. Wasn't he a great State of Origin player?
Look how different the jerseys are. They've changed so much over the years.
I think that's the night I got fed by Jamie Goddard. Yeah, Reese, he just tackled me there. So that was my first.
That was your first.
What year is that?
No, that's 97. They're the 97 jerseys. You played 96 and 95.
95 and 96. Must have been my first year. Our first try. Really?
There's Goddard. He bashed you later that night.
Yeah, lucky punch.
All right, Freddie, do you remember yours?
No idea.
All right, we're going to roll it. Let's have a look.
Well, Mullows was playing. That must be 1994. Off the scrum. Goes above Mel's head.
That's your first?
There wasn't much to that.
So that's 94.
Yep.
So what was your first year?
90.
90.
I only played one game. I played 10 minutes that year, and then 91 I played 2 games.
I reckon that's probably the best Origin team ever, that 94 team.
94.
Yeah, it was a good team.
Did you go 3-0 that year?
No.
Yeah,
Mate, every game through that series was won by 4 points. It was incredible, those 3 years, 92, 93, 94. But they were all on Wide World of Sports, weren't they? Wide World of Sports. Can you tell us these? Give us a Wide World of Sports.
I knew this would come up.
Give us your best.
Wide World of Sports. But that doesn't happen sometimes in the morning.
Didn't come out that way this morning.
Looking forward to all the State of Origin coverage right here on Nine's Wide World of Sports, exclusive at live
all
and
wired.
free. Hopefully you can find
Carl's Liberace jacket. Liberace.
You know,
Where's
it's actually
Carl at then?
he's in Dubai at the moment.
What's he doing in Dubai?
Oh, I'd love knowing that you watched the
Tanning
Today
up.
Show.
Oh, yeah, watch
the
it all
whole
the time.
Turning out.
the whole show's gone to Dubai, but I got given the option: Dubai or stay with you guys
Brisbane.
for Freddie in the 8th and do State
Good
of
decision.
Origin.
Good decision.
Right.
Well, we can
decision.
take you out tonight and make it a night to forget.
Make it a night to forget. They're the
What is
best
Lockheed's?
memories, yeah. The best nights are the ones that you forget.
Best memories are the ones you don't remember. Darren Lockheed.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit of State of Origin. What have you made of the build-up the week? It
it's
doesn't
been
feel like
boring.
there has been a lot of
Did someone light
drama.
the fuse?
No fuse.
There's no fuse.
Well, there was a drone. It was too late.
There
the
was
drone
someone
was too
spying
late.
on the New South Wales camp when Stephen Crichton went off.
Well, in the
injured.
Queensland team, who can you hate? There's no one really.
Tino.
No.
You can't hate him.
No.
You've gotten too soft in your
Oh,
older years.
I've got to say the preparation of Queensland has been a lot more fluid than the New South Wales teams. They come into Sydney, had the blue ball, then they went to Katoomba. It rained for a couple of days, and they come back to Sydney to train. They come up here, injuries. Payne Haas didn't train all week. Stephen Crichton went down. So it'd be interesting if we see that while Queensland just plodded
They've-
along
they've
30
been
degrees every day.
Twin Waters, Sunshine Coast, enjoying everything Queensland has to offer.
I'm trying to pick in there who you'd love to see get smashed. There's no real villains. There's no King Wally. Who else was the villain?
Cam Munster, I'd like to see
Munster.
Cam. I'd like that Mo just splattered all over his lip.
Anyone else?
No, not really. Harry's too nice a bloke. Kalen plays for Newcastle, so please don't touch him. Yeah. And you said, what, Spencer? But Spencer's not talking.
Latrell.
Spencer and Latrell, they're probably
Well, the
the
two
villains.
villains aren't talking.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's why there hasn't
I
been
think
a
it'll
lot
be-
of spice.
About 60 seconds into the game, it'll
There'll
change.
be plenty of spice. Well, what did you make of Stephen Crichton? He went off injured in their training session yesterday with that quad injury. You can see just how heavy.
Sure it's not chafe? Until you walk back from the beach when you've got that much sand up your collar.
So they've got Stephen Crichton, obviously, in the squad. He's been in and around State of Origin for a number of years. He's
Yeah.
just been really unfortunate to miss out due to different injuries and whatnot. And then there's talk that Matt Burton
So
would
that
come
was,
in as 18th
that was
man.
Monday.
So that was yesterday.
That was yesterday.
Yes.
So if it's a
Monday.
bad cork, you can't play with them.
Yeah, they hurt.
They really hurt.
But I heard he
Right.
trained today. So he did captain's run, so that's normally a good sign that he'll play.
Is it a positive thing for New South Wales that they do, if God forbid Stephen Crichton is ruled out, that they do have Campbell Graham, that's his position. He's been
Yeah.
in and around.
Very
Is
good
it the-
defensive centre too. He'll slot in.
Well, that's why they call him Stretch too, because he's.
You sure about that?
That's what I assumed.
No, he's tall.
Do you know?
That way.
It looks like he's been stretched because he's got.
Oh,
I've got to say, Stephen Crichton would be a big loss.
stop there. You're digging a hole there, Danica. Stephen Crichton,
Huge
he'll
loss.
play. He'll play for sure.
Okay, well that's good news for New South Wales. What about the game plans for New South Wales, Queensland? How do you think it's going to sort of play out on the field?
Well, I think New South Wales got an advantage on the edge with their back rowers and centres. So, but you can't go there till you've done the hard work in the middle. I think the back five for New South Wales are important, the fullback, the wingers and the outside backs, getting out of dummy half and getting forward to help their forwards. I think if New South Wales have greater share of possession and field position, there's too many points in New South Wales.
I think they'll both be very similar. I think what they'll want to do is get to Harry or get to our hookers, then get to their right. So that'll be getting at Munster and getting his tackle count up, and that'll be getting at Moses and getting his tackle count up. What that'll do is then leave DCE isolated with Robert Toyer, and then also Nathan. Nathan, he can be slow on lead sometimes, so he'll be a real target. And I reckon that'll be both their game plans.
And
Get to
that's-
the right to open up the left.
And talking about Nathan getting off, that's Kalen's favourite side.
Well, that's Kalen, Munster,
when he runs to that left side.
Hammer, and Val Holmes. Like, there's some real
speed
athletes there, yeah. So I think that decision making with those blokes on our right is going to be crucial.
I haven't seen a team, I'm sure every team talks about it, isolating Brian To'o under the high ball. I haven't ever seen it happen. Now, Xavier Coates will be on that side,
Yeah.
so surely they're going to come up with a plan to try to get him.
Yeah, you're right. For a small bloke, No one's ever gone over the top of him.
Yeah.
What about for the makeup of the benches and the run on sides? Because we've seen Billy make changes last minute. Was it late last year that
I think New South Wales' bench is far, far superior. Dearden's at 14. I've never seen Tommy Dearden play in the middle.
Well, that's the thing. What position?
And they got
Tom
debutants there. Well, you don't know.
Well, he'll cover the halves and then he'll have to cover hooker and maybe in lock forward. A lot of the time they'll bring those smaller blokes in when the sort of heat's out of the game and try to use speed through the middle. Bailey Hayward does it for Canterbury, a bit different. The other one's Lindsay Collins. Lindsay Collins played the other day for the Roosters. He got fatigued pretty quick.
Played one game in 5 weeks.
So having him come off the bench means that you're going to risk that he's going to blow out. So maybe they might start him and then bring Mo or someone off the bench.
Okay. All right. So we could see some late changes from the Queensland side when team lists are released 1 hour before playoffs. So, of course, we will be all across that. All right. Stick around because we've got so much more coming your way here on Freddy in the 8th. We're only just getting warmed up. Fatty Shaw knows as well who he is now, but he didn't in 1995. And Ben Ikin joins us very shortly here on Freddy in the 8th. So let's hear from Queensland legend Ben Ikin coming up very shortly.
While a serious bonding session last night forced New South Wales to cancel training this morning,
as for the Queenslanders, they spent the day just getting to know each other.
Funny, I got out of the lift and I just looked at this kid and he looked like something we walked off the street, from the Gold Coast somewhere, and I said, yes. And he went, oh, Ben Ikin.
Ikin and his teammates had a run with Vaughton this afternoon. Now at least they know who he is. Clinton Fletcher, National 9 News.
Oh, that is great gear from the Fat. And tomorrow night, looking forward to this in pre-game of State of Origin. He's going to be talking to us all about 1995 through his eyes as well. So apparently it's a very good piece. Must tune in for that. But I'm pleased to say that the QRL CEO, Ben Ikin, joins us on Friday the 8th. Now, good to see you.
Hi, Danica.
What's it like looking back at that? And also, too, the fact that that was 30 years ago.
No, I know. Look, Fatty clearly looked much younger, as did I. There's been a few pictures circulating this week of us side by side and a whole lot of commentary that have come with the text messages. But it was an incredible time. Like, I was first year out of high school and had played 3 first-grade games at a club that wasn't renowned for success, the Gold Coast Seagulls. So they literally ran out of players to pick. And I'd played in a Queensland under-17s side the year before. Arthur Beetson was there watching and he said, look, there's this kid down the Gold Coast. He's just made his debut. If you need someone, why not give him a run? And no one knew who I was. I didn't know half the team. So to think that we went on to win that series 3-0 is quite remarkable.
I always talk to Freddy about this, about just being so young, and that it's actually, you say that it's actually quite beneficial because you're just so full of confidence. What was it like for
you haven't
yourself?
had time to think.
Yeah.
Well, I think I broke your record, didn't I? Yeah. So he was like 114 days into his 18th year and I was 83. So it wasn't by much. And you're right, let's be honest, I was 18, I was male and I was playing rugby league for a living, so I wasn't thinking too deeply about life. And that helped, certainly. Like the thing that didn't get me going, the penny didn't really drop what I was part of until I got to Sydney for game 1. And it was game day, still nothing, speech, still nothing. I hopped on the team bus and the police escort fired up. And I went, wow, it's game on. This is important.
And there's no noise on the bus either.
No.
How quiet is it?
Yeah. And so, like, I'd only been to Sydney once before, so I'm driving through the streets of Sydney in peak hour, coppers in front of the bus, and it all started to slightly overwhelm me. But, we ended up winning.
What was Fatty like during that 95?
Look, you both know him well. He's a pretty intelligent guy, thinks deeply about the game, and the thing that I reckon helped him enormously is that he coached a game plan that he himself used as a player. It was a very simple game for Fatty, rugby league, particularly at the Origin level. And so he gave us a game plan that we could all bite down on under pressure and fatigue and just kept reinforcing it over and over. But we were never going to win on talent. It was all going to be about character. And so the plan he ended up giving us was simple, it was repeatable, and it was made to order for a group of blokes like that.
So do you think any other coach could have got used to win 3-0?
I don't think so. You know, because he knows and understands Origin history. He knows what it means to the people of Queensland when this team is winning. Like, you've experienced it, you know, where we go a bit silly up here north of the border around Origin time. And when this team wins, the whole state walks taller. And he tapped into that. And he's always been able to articulate his point very well. So he knew in his head what we were going to have to do to beat New South Wales, a team full of 11 internationals, and he just kept repeating it, reinforcing it, and in the end it worked.
The other one is always standing next to the coach is Chris Close. What does Chris Close mean to Queenslanders?
He was the second coming of Dick Tosser-Turner, who's, you know, labelled the godfather of the Fogs and Origin up here. He bleeds maroon, choppy. You know, started his career playing the same position as this bloke, Brett Dallas. He was man of the match in Origin 1 and 2 way back in 1980 and 81, and, you know, famous for the slap on Eric Groves, you know, the finger to Phil Gould. It meant the world to him. And in fact, in that on the first day in the first camp, Freddy sat us down and spoke to us for about 20 minutes as a team. And he sort of helped us understand the enormity of what was in front of us, how much he believed in us, and how we were going to do it, how we were going to beat New South Wales. He turned and gave the floor to Choppy, and Choppy tried to speak and ended up just crying.
Oh, wow.
That was all that he could muster. And so after Freddy's speech and Choppy's tears, the team was ready to rock and roll.
How much weight did you put on during that series?
Approximately 14 kilos.
In 6 weeks.
I started 1995 at the Gold Coast Seagulls at 84 kilos. And I finished at 98 kilos, right? And I ended up getting picked for the junior Kangaroos.
Oh, look at those sloppy thighs.
Yeah. They kept growing after this series. I went back to the Gold Coast, and there's that. I made the junior Kangaroos at the end of the year. And you know those old team photos where you all stand in a line, one line? And I must have thought that I still fit size 32 shorts. So I've got this photo.
You can see the veins.
Mate, the shorts are cutting into my thighs like you wouldn't believe.
Well, there has been so much discussion. We were talking about it when you first came on about the fact that you made your State of Origin debut after playing 4 games, and Robert Toyer, he's making his State of Origin debut after 10 games. You can't even imagine what he is going through, because I feel like it's such a different time for 30 years ago State of Origin to now. Have you had much to do with the team through the week and Robert Toyer at all?
Have nothing to do with the team. I kind of meet with Billy at the start of his contract and try and extend him for as long as we can. And then once that's done, the reins are handed over. I trust Billy deeply. You know, he talks you through his philosophy about being head coach of this team. And I just know that Robert Toyer, stepping into this environment, is going to get well supported. Like these kids these days, they're in systems, high-performance systems from about the age of 15. Like he's come out of one of the most consistently high-performing clubs in our competition over the last 20 years in the Sydney Roosters. Trent Robinson, I dare say, would have been on the phone to him this week. He would know and understand him. Trent Robinson, would have been someone that regularly chatted with Billy Slater or vice versa. So Billy has been clear since Robert was selected that he looked for habits in his game that he knew were going to stand him in good stead come Wednesday night. Call them Origin habits or whatever they might be. But Billy would not have picked him if he didn't think he could get the job done.
And he's been there for a couple of years. Like, he's been injured, he's been around the club. So, he's conditioned to training. He's not a kid. Like, when you look at Ben when he came through, like, he was a kid. The other thing is, at the moment, mate, you're a CEO of Queensland. Like, you're a player. You went through the media. What's it like being the CEO, and how different is it to the other 2 jobs?
Governance is not easy. Some days it feels like you're herding cats. Like here in Queensland, we've got the 2 Origin teams. We don't touch the NRL clubs, but they sit in our jurisdiction. Underneath that, we've got our 15 Queensland Cup clubs that each run 6 teams, and then the big beast that sort of feeds the machine up the top in Community Rugby League is 356 clubs across 34 leagues, 14 referees associations, and all run by people who work for nothing, 20,000
volunteers.
Yep. And, the really pleasing thing for me today was we had our Volunteers of the Year come down. So they get nominated at the back end of last season, and I get the pleasure of calling them up and thanking them for their service, and then tell them that they're going to be flown in to watch Origin at Suncorp
Yeah,
Stadium. So they hang around the QRL for a couple of days. We remind them just how thankful we are as a game, and that this thing we're going to watch, 6 times over now that we've got the women's series, those people that participate in that thing, they do not get that opportunity without the good work of the volunteers. It's so very important. It's probably the thing that keeps me up at night, because volunteerism is getting harder. So as the CEO of the QRL, supported by our board, our job is to make sure that those people get the support they need so the game keeps growing and getting better.
It is such an important job that they do.
Yeah.
They need so much recognition for it, because they are, not a lot of people have a lot of spare time these days,
No.
but good to see.
Well, the game is growing because we just passed last year's number, so we're at numbers that we've never been at before, and we've still got a month to go of participation. So get out there and join a footy team.
Yeah, great news. Thanks so much for joining us here on Freddy.
Thanks,
It
Danica.
sounds like you're very busy. You have a proper job, unlike us. We just have fun ones. All right, enjoy the footy tomorrow night
Thank
too.
you.
All right, we'll stick around. Coming up next, looking forward to this one. Bedsy, Danny Buderus. Yes, he's joining us live on the panel. Stick around. We'll be back just after the break.
Everything. It was a dream. Everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it meant everything.
I just remember just pizza night.
Wednesday night with all my mates, get some pizza and watch the footy.
Always glued to the TV and just couldn't wait to watch it.
Tough years for a while there for Blues fans.
Pretty a lot of tears, to be fair, when I was watching.
A slim few years there, and remember I'd be crying and stuff. You go to school and have the kids, and we're going for Queensland, and they just used to give you the
You tell everyone to shut up for Gus's pre-game speech.
Let's talk about motivation.
Yeah, most pumped up night of the year, I reckon.
I was over at his house at the time, so...
No, he wasn't.
I was not. No, probably have, just pizza.
Man, a few things, I reckon. Family time, your rivalry with your mates.
You're not thinking about anything else other than getting home, making sure you're in the lounge room ready to watch the game.
Yeah, it's almost favourite night of the year.
Yeah, I think I have to agree with Dylan Edwards there. Favourite night of the year. And favourite guest, I think, so far that we're having on Freddy in the 8th.
A bit worried.
Danny Buderus. I've been looking forward to this one.
Wow.
As soon as I heard that you were on, I thought this is going to be a dynamic duo.
I just feel a little bit of a stitch up coming late night. He's got a few secrets on me, there's no doubt.
Oh, you.
Have you got some on him?
Yeah, because if you want, you
sticks
can.
on him.
You can start. I mean, we can leave the serious footy chat till later.
Yes. No, good to be here. Privileged to be on set. How good.
What are your memories of State of Origin? What does it mean to you?
Yeah, you heard that there. It's the best night of the year. I got to play with these guys. Some memories probably 20 years ago, the 2005 series, and Fred come back for the 2004 series as well. But yeah, this game here, game one, I think we were 19-0 down.
This one here, this is an iconic one, Beds.
Yeah, 19-0 down, and we came back 20 all, and I think went to Golden Point.
One thing stands out, I don't know what year, 2003 maybe, the opening, and I kicked off and the ball actually landed, and when Shane Webke gets the ball underneath the post after a bounce, first one there's, mate, you give him everything.
Oh, I reckon I had about 8 stitches in my ear, and I had to tape it up, and I looked ridiculous, and I just remember looking at myself, have a go at yourself, and I just knew that I had to do something. I'm looking ridiculous as it was, so that kick went off, and I just ran down there as fast as I could and bounced around, and the biggest man to pick it up was Shane Webke, and I did my best. That's all I could do.
What about playing here? What's it like? Give us an idea of the atmosphere.
Yeah, you're so
Suncorp.
close, Fred, aren't you, from dressing shed to sideline, so the feeling's just, usually you can run out and just settle yourself a little bit, but it's just bang, it's in your face. So you feel like you can run through the other side of the grandstand and keep running. It's such an adrenaline hit. But yeah, it's a special place. It's a holy grail for a lot of people to play up here, and it's in Queensland. So it's an amazing opportunity for everyone to play up here.
What about the captain of the state?
Yeah, well, you were injured that year and got thrust into that in 2004, and super privileged. I had the doubt straight away, and I had 2 games there, and Fred came back for the second game, I think it was, and the third game. So
Did you captain Freddy?
Yeah, I did. I captained both
Tell
years.
us the story at the first training session.
Well, we were there to set some standards, or Fred was to set some standards around my leadership, and we're just doing a simple warm-up, pass, hand off, pass, hand off, and Freddie looked at me as if to say, "What are you doing, mate? What are you doing?" And I'm just sort of getting my pass. And he said, what are you doing after training? Anyway, he grabbed me after training and said, is that your standard? Is that what you're willing to accept? And I said, well, aren't we just warming up? And he said, there's no warm-ups in Origin. I went, got you, Fred. So
you would have been horrified.
I was horrified. So, yeah, it was initiation, and Fred was there to teach me a few things around what it means to be a Blues player, yeah.
All right, talking about initiation, you're probably one of the nicest guys in rugby league. We have spoken here on the show about when people have alter egos. Darren Lockyer, he has Daryl. Do you have an alter ego that's ever come out maybe in a State of Origin camp?
Well, I'm a bit of a follower, so I used to follow this man a fair bit. So I've gotten in trouble. There's a couple of photos over time. I can see myself contemplating, should I or shouldn't I go with him? And I always should.
That one we're in the gutter.
Yeah, literally in the gutter.
We're sitting in the gutter. We fly back into Newey, and I ring the bride and say, oh, come and pick us up. Come pick me and Bedsy. So ring me when you're 2 minutes away. She rings me. We had a taxi waiting. We jump in the taxi. She's, where are you? So me and Bedsy's bags are there. We'll be home maybe tomorrow. Bedsy maybe do it.
Yeah. No, we've had some time. So Blubsy was my nickname. I'd probably lose my neck muscles a little bit, I guess. After
when he gets full of it, that's we call him Blubsy because... and he gets ruthless on people.
Oh, too nice.
What about
the voice goes a bit high.
What about when you got ruthless on...
John Laws, tell us that.
John Laws.
Tell us that, John Laws.
You've made so much money on the speaking circuit. Just stitch me up on this. I actually can't remember it.
He showed Laws his belt buckle. He loved it.
And let's say belt buckle.
Yeah. No, it was an interesting afternoon. Not that I can remember. I remember waking up in Andrew's son's bed about 3 o'clock in Newcastle going, did we go to Sydney yesterday? We definitely went to Sydney.
I'll spoon you and tell you.
Did you have to tell him that he may have or may not have gotten naked at the lunch? I
had to spoon him and tell him to give it. What about when
Gus...
It was
emotional, very emotional.
What about being coached by Gus?
Yeah, Gus, for me, having all those coaches during your Origin career, it's one of the great things is you see different ways that coaches set up the week. And for Gus, I reckon the first time we got with Gus, he took us up into his room. The whole team was just like this sort of around a room, and he was sort of challenging you without challenging you. Like he'd look at you and it's the eye contact, and you looked away, this is what I thought anyway, if you looked away, that was a way of seeing you as a sign of weakness, but he kept on just going at you, and when he looked away, you just go, breathe, you know. So, that's just the way he set the week up, and always about an ambush. And one good memory here is the Fogs usually have their luncheon on over there, and we probably had 60% use of the field. They had it roped off, and he knew what was going on. There'd be people watching, and he goes, right, when we go out, we're going to chip and chase 40-metre line every time. We did about 5 sets, and I think one of the boys kicked it, fullback chased it, and that was us. We went back in. So he just set us up, goes, this is going to be they think we're going to play this way, but we're not going to play this way. We don't need to train today. We've got an understanding how we're going to play, and we went out and did it.
Now, another part of your life, mate, Mark Hughes, one of your good mates, obviously had an illness, and he's attacking it the best way possible by bringing awareness.
And your wife is involved with it?
Involved. Tell us what this means to you, mate.
Yeah, it's special. Every year we do the Beanie for Brain Cancer round. It's the whole community, everyone within the sporting world gets behind it, especially the rugby league community. And it just goes gangbusters. Like for the Calendar family as well, super involved. And it's been over 10 years now, the foundation. The support it's got through the rugby league community has just been amazing. So there's about over 30 million raised. We do treks. There's fundraisers. There's always someone doing something to make this hideous disease hopefully get solved. And rugby league gets their turn pretty soon.
Well, they always do such a fantastic design. Loving the new ones this year. So
yeah, it's a bit of a cross. You like the cross. You like the female one.
And I like them.
How long did you and Mark live together for?
Solid 6 years. I got kicked out.
They're like an old married couple.
Yeah.
Give us a Mark story.
They used to finish each other's sentences.
Well, no, we had a bar downstairs. It was a pretty popular bar called Whispers. No one shouted. It was always us. We had a whole under-20s. Nathan Brown brought his St George Dragons team up there one time, and 20 of them stayed down there for probably an hour, 3 hours. Not one of them got out of the spa. So it was one of those ways. It was a real relaxing man's club down there.
That spa, I got about 3 ear infections from.
Anyone, Andrew?
That's just going on.
Yeah. No, he's a clean skin.
I don't believe a moment of that. All right, we'll have to get you back on Freddy in the 8. Thanks for joining us here.
Thanks,
you'll definitely be
welcome
back.
to John Laws too, if you're watching.
Hey, Laws, he loves his show.
Are you wearing a belt?
Actually,
You're better than that, Danica.
All right, well, also coming up, if you think State of Origin is fiery, we cannot wait for this one. SBW and Paul Gallen will be going head-to-head in the boxing ring July 16. Looking forward to that. It's already building up to be quite the spicy fight. So that is on Stand pay-per-view as well. And don't forget as well, there's a new Macca's New South Wales meal available right now. And when you buy one of these new Macca's meals, you get a free New South Wales Cup.
05.
85.
Memories.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you can head in store to grab yours today. So
There's the first one, Steve Mortimer, 85. Bang.
there you go. Grab your meal and then
Winning
you get a
cup.
free New South Wales Cup too. All right, well, that is all thanks to Macca's as well. We're going to be talking our Macca's moment for this year, the 85 series.
Wow.
It's the first year.
Yeah, I watched the first one I went and watched was 84, but Benny Elias was a big addition, I thought. He changed State of Origin. I don't think he changed the way hookers played Benny Elias.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
He was brilliant. He got inducted into the Hall of Fame last Monday.
Probably the most iconic image for New South Wales is after they win the series. I hope we see it. Turvey gets down on his knees, and you can see just what it meant to him. And by all accounts, this camp and this, I hope we see it. See that sort of stuff. It's just he took hold of the camp pretty much and just drove all the players and got the belief in the blue jersey.
Well, the story is when they got to Brisbane, so he got on the bus and he got everyone to pull their blinds. And he stood at the front. He just said, "Everyone here hates you. Every single person up here hates you. The bus driver hates you. So we're just going to stick together the whole trip." That's the one they come up and won.
Oh, how good.
There it is. 85.
There it is, 85. Yep, all right, so the Blues meal has landed at Macca's. There's 6 legendary cups to collect, so go in store and collect yours today, see if you can get all 6. That's a lot of Macca's as well, so no doubt there'll be a lot of Macca's after State of Origin night. Bedsy, great to have you on. We've got plenty more coming up here on Fred in the 8th. It's always good. Stick around. We'll be back just after this. Well, what a sight Suncorp Stadium is this evening. We cannot wait to see it in action in all its glory tomorrow. But we have a huge week of State of Origin action coming up on Nine's Wide World of Sports. Tamika Upton joins us now because after Men's Origin tomorrow night, the women are back in action. Unfortunately, though, for yourself, you won't be part of it. Talk us through the injury. It's a glute injury, but it's one that you did actually prior to Game 2.
Yeah, so got into camp day 1 and unfortunately just sort of went on me, but had a really good rehab, got myself back in time, but unfortunately couldn't last out the game and it just went, which is unfortunate. A little bit bittersweet, obviously, get to see Hayley Maddock make her debut, but it's not what you want with such a short turnaround, but yeah, I'm really excited to get in with the girls.
So what do you do? How do you fix a glute injury?
I actually don't know. If you know, just let me know. But
is there a lot of massaging?
No, actually.
That's a legitimate question.
It's not. It's like rest, rehab, so much booty band work. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's a bit like Pilates, so it's definitely not my strong
parts. So many parts to the glute. There are actually a number of different parts to the glute, so it's strengthening all the other parts as well. And
Andrew's got more than.
What are you talking about?
The glute. There's.
So you grew up in Rocky, and you had a connection with Harry Grant. Harry Grant's mum coached you, but you also played touch footy with the one and only Cam Munster. Growing up there, what was footy like?
Oh, it's the heartland of footy, we always say, in central Queensland. Everyone's into footy. I grew up playing it against all the boys, but I was fortunate enough to sort of come through. And Margie Grant, everyone who's in central Queensland knows who she is. She's dedicated, gives so much of her time up, and just coached us to help the women's team out. So I was very fortunate to cross paths with her, and yeah, fortunate enough to play a game or two with Cameron Munster in mixed, and he was honestly the most freakish talent you'll ever see.
But annoying.
Yeah, and he told them too. He made sure they all know about that. He was very good.
What was it like playing against this New South Wales team? They were very well prepared. I believe your team had a lot less sessions, but what were they like to play against?
Oh, they're pretty much a juggernaut side. If you look at their outside backs, just the size on them purely, and then you go into their forwards, they're obviously fit, fast and strong, and very connected as a team. And spoken heaps about Liv Koenig, but she is the connector for that team, and she gets the ball through the middle and then out to the edges where they do a lot of damage. So it was obviously hard playing on the back foot against them all game, but you know, they were just firing across all parts.
We're going to have a look at the team lists as well, because obviously with yourself out, it does bring a lot of change to the Queensland side, a fair bit of reshuffling. But you can see Ali Brigginshaw on the screen there. She was quite emotional following the loss in Game 2, the series loss as well. Do you think that maybe this could be the last series that she's a part of? And if it is, does it just sort of inspire the girls to go out on a high?
I actually have no idea. I haven't spoken to Ali about it. I think, you know, at the end of the day, it's her call and she'll keep fighting for the jersey if she wants to. But, you know, we've seen where the game has gone. We've seen the young ones coming through. New South Wales, they're such a young side at the moment. What she'll do on Thursday night, particularly with the injuries that we do have and the people that we have missing, is bring a lot of calm to the girls, which will be needed.
You won a couple of comps in Newcastle with Jessie Southwell. Must have been bittersweet watching Jess carve up.
Yeah, obviously she missed out last year of the New South Wales team, which was pretty unfortunate. And, you know, she went back. She had a bit of a rough year last year and she worked on her craft, and you can obviously see that. She's a million miles an hour now. Her kicking game was unbelievable and sort of had us on the back foot the whole time. And I think she played her role so perfectly and just complemented through the midfield.
Now you're leaving Newcastle, you come back to Brisbane. How hard was that decision?
It was a really tough decision, something that I sort of sat on for ages, and it's still actually quite sad to think about. You know, you can still be sad and have to make the right decision, but I have a lot of friends. I love Newcastle as a place. I actually miss it as a place, you know, waking up, going to the beach in the morning, getting a coffee, but I just think, you know, here I've been surrounded by family. I've been pretty fortunate that my family come visit me most weekends, or I'm up back in Rocky, so it's the right move for me.
Well, we wish you were going to be in action tomorrow, Thursday night rather, but unfortunately not. I'm sure you'll be cheering on. And of course, don't forget you can watch all the action from the Women's State of Origin right here on Nine's Wide World of Sports. Thanks so much for joining us here on Freddy and the 8th, and enjoy the next 2 nights of Origin.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
Alrighty. Yes, we're going to dive into our sports, but having a crack moment for this week because there's been a few highlights. We're going to start off with Ray Stone. What an effort this was. He put his body on the line as well. His arm was hanging half off his body, and he just continued to make tackle after tackle.
I don't think he understands what pain is, and I actually think he probably enjoys pain.
Yeah, I think so. There's
there's something about Ray that scares me. Really scares me.
Red flag Ray, they call him. The girls at Channel 9.
He would be so good to play with.
He's just mad.
He is so tough.
And then what about, you would have enjoyed seeing this one, Paul Bryan on debut.
Oh, what a tough effort.
Yeah.
First tackle.
Shoulder out. And
pops his shoulder out there, goes out, and then he pops it back in himself, but then stays out, and then during that time, he pops it out a second time and pops it back in and ends up playing a fair chunk of the game. Now, for a young player to come and do this on debut, all the senior players now, without a doubt, would say put him in. Put him in because we can trust him. So, yeah, huge effort.
The adrenaline that would have been running through his body as well. Yeah, there you go.
I couldn't imagine doing it.
A duo
Incredibly
that don't
tough.
feel pain.
Ray.
It's
Ray.
certainly having a crack. All right, it is time to check in with the sports bet. It's over to Joel Kane.
Just have a look at these absolute guns. This is our State of Origin bingo. You go to the State of Origin hub. What we need is any 3 of these 6 try-scoring machines to pick up a try in State of Origin 1, or you can pick up any 4 if you want to go a little bit more chunky on the price there. State of Origin, bring it on.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.
Welcome back to Freddy and the 8th. Here we are inside the visitors' change room. Have a look at those pictures.
I got butterflies.
Yeah.
I can actually feel it.
The blokes would have went out there. When you come off the bus, you actually go outside just to try to experience the atmosphere and what it could be like. But normally there's a game on before, and that sort of calms the nerves down a little bit. But once you get in here, there's a massive attitude adjustment.
When you're warming up.
Mm.
I mean, you warm up in joggers, which is totally different. You leave your boots in. But you do all your sprints, and then the last thing is you rip into these. Oh! I didn't mean to hit it. Oh, my neck.
No, these are the last things you do. You do 3 of them each, and that's when everyone's got their head on.
And then you come back in the room here. Now this is where you start before you go and warm up. You come off the bus and you get in here first before you go out and watch the other games. And you find your place, and in your place, remember they always had the magazines.
They had the magazines,
Everyone
they had the
sit there.
programs. And you go through and you'd see everyone that played State of Origin and go through and go all the records and the wins and losses, and you'd always check out where you sat at the time.
The ones that stand out is we'd warm up, and then we'd get back into here, and we'd sit here, and then Gus or Ricky would start and just go on their rant and just rev you up. And then you'd hear the boom, 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 boom.
2-minute bell.
2-minute bell. And the coaches generally leave, and then everyone would be just in here. I remember you screaming, just screaming at us.
You just get so emotional. You had tears coming out your eyes. You scream. You just couldn't wait. This moment now, the one as you're about to leave. And really, you're not even thinking. You're just looking at the ground. You're ready for this smash in the face of this atmosphere.
This bit here, when you're walking out here, and you're just about to turn the corner, and then you can just see the top, but as you get further, you see the whole lot. And it's the only place where I've felt it, because at a core, they're so far
so
away.
long.
But here, they're so close, it literally hits you in the face. And when you hit here, you just sprint as fast as you can. Just absolutely sprinting. And then you get out here, and then you try to find your family and your friends. Oh, it's so good.
I used to love coming out, because when you're inside, you're thinking so much, and you're sort of going through your game plan and what you want to do. But the moment you start walking, you stop thinking. And you just sort of feel in the air, the atmosphere. They start to line you up for the anthem.
When we used to do the anthem, would you pick out your mum in the crowd?
Yeah. I remember seeing mum at Wembley.
Wembley.
Spot her in the crowd and just sing the national anthem. We used to love singing the national anthem.
I remember doing the anthem, the first one. Look, and there's mum. Hey, mum, where's Dad? Where's Dad?
He's at the bar.
He's got to settle his nerves. Hey, guys, how are you? But playing rugby league, playing Origin, look, it calls our home, but this place here, this is like a coliseum. Absolute coliseum. Some of our greatest memories.
Yeah. I played at Lang Park here. That was bizarre. There used to be
the
a
old Lang
cage.
Park.
People would be spitting on you and just throwing stuff at you. That was hostile as you could get.
Back to you, Danica. 8 o'clock tomorrow. They're going to feel it.
I know, the excitement. It is reaching sky high at the moment. Great trip down memory lane. All right, we're going to be back after this to wrap things up. Oh, what a sight that is. Suncorp Stadium, wow. 24 hours, less than 24 hours time, and it is going to be absolutely heaving. Before we wrap it up, Freddie, you've got a special mention for the show.
Yeah, I got some footage from Taree, and just to show you, Matty Adamson, he's with an ex-Bulldog player, Terry McCartney, and look at the state of his place. Oh, my God.
The floods have just been terrible in that whole region, so...
Yeah, and that was standing. The only thing left in the house was the blue flag.
How cool's that?
That is cool.
And we've got two players playing tomorrow night. Latrell Mitchell's from Taree and Mitch Barnett's from Wingham, just down the road.
Yep.
So I'm sure those boys will want to put a big performance in for those people.
Yep, all right. We are thinking of everyone who has been affected by the floods in New South Wales as well. But sit back, get a good night's sleep, behave yourself, you two, and we'll be back here tomorrow night with all the State of Origin coverage from 7 p.m. right here on Nine's Wide World of Sports. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you tomorrow.
This has been another presentation from Nine's Wide World of Sports.